This is Joshua Haymes. He is a right-wing extremist nutcase. He's also affiliated with Pete Hegseth's pastor, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Pete Hegseth's pastor comes on all the time to his channel or whatever. So I want to listen to this. The thumbnail said it made the 1350 argument, this Nazi argument that 13% of the population commits 50% of the homicides. Saying that black people are inherently more violent than white people. First of all, we're going to debunk it in a second, but first of all, that number is cherry-picked. Why did you pick those specific numbers, those specific statistics and values? Why didn't you just say what's the crime rate between each demographic? The second problem is that this is based on race science. So we'll get into it as we go. Let's listen.
We have to account for the reality that black people, 13% of the population in the United States, commit over 50% of the violent crime.
And
I think it's homicides specifically, and there's a reason for this. We'll get into.
in that sense, I also need to walk around you with pepper spray and tasers because white men are the ones who women more.
Yeah, that's true. 800% more likely to take advantage of women to commit a violent crime. White men, or men, just generally men, are like 800% more likely to commit a violent crime.
So that's actually not true. Actually, it's statistically black men are more likely to women.
I have done.
Yeah, that's not what she was saying. Let's just fact check this. Here's the statistic. Men commit violent crimes at substantially higher rates than women across virtually all societies. The exact ratio varies by type of crime and jurisdiction, but here are some general patterns. By specific crime type, homicide, men commit approximately 90% of murders globally, roughly a 9-to-1 ratio. Aggravated assault, men commit these at roughly 4 to 6 times the rate of women. Robbery, men commit these at approximately 8 to 10 times the rate of women. Assault, perpetrators are overwhelmingly male, though exact ratios vary by definition and reporting. The problem is that regarding the homicide rate or whatever, when he says 13% of the population, 1350, commits 50% of the murders, he's implying that black people are inherently more violent because of the color of their skin. And there is a genetic difference, a genetic inferiority to black people. That's the implication. It's a Nazi talking point. It's been a Nazi talking point for many years, 1350. The problem is that that's not true. There is no genetic difference that would cause that. However, males and females do commit violent crimes at different rates. And males commit like massively more violent crime than women. It's not even close. 800% more likely for most of these crimes. 900% more likely to commit a murder. 400 to 600% more likely to commit aggravated assault. That is a genetic component for men, between men and women. So here's the question. This guy is advocating for what exactly? I'm not even sure. What's he saying we should do about the black murder rate, quote unquote? Is he saying we should, throw black people in jail or something? I'm not even sure. I don't know. Just throw them in jail by default? Why is he applying a special standard to men generally that he is not applying to black people specifically? Because he just doesn't fucking like black people. That's why. Joshua Haymes is a colossal, disgusting fucking scumbag who is a Nazi, in effect, with the arguments that he's making.
On the research, it is statistically more white men.
So step back, listen to the argument one more time, and see the little switch that he does there.
Who women more. So
That's actually not true. Actually, it's statistically black men are more likely to women.
We were not talking about black people. Do you think there's something like about their skin color that makes them more violent or something? What do you think this is? The truth is poverty is the major driver for crime. If you want to reduce crime rates, then you reduce poverty by creating jobs. And if nothing else, create jobs by putting people to work fixing roads and bridges and stuff, fixing our infrastructure. That's what FDR did. And why is there poverty? Because there have been no opportunities to rise up out of poverty for the black community. Every time a community is built up every time like jobs are brought into a community and it's improved and houses are cleaned up and fixed and built and made pretty and all that other stuff. It's always some white suburban community that the money goes into fixing up and all of that. It's never black communities where these fixes happen. There's no generational wealth in the black community, practically zero. But there is generational wealth in the white community. So he's blaming black people for a problem that white people created. Again, like white people today aren't to blame for this. Like I'm not to blame for this, but we need to fix it. As a society, we need to fix this and stop blaming black people for problems that were created by white people.
That's actually not true. Actually, it's statistically black men are more likely to rape women.
I have done the research. It is statistically more white men, not black men, men in general, but white men specifically that rape more.
For the video, I'll just put up the statistics on the screen.
And it's still Christians who are dehumanizing us still to this day.
Well, I disagree with that. I don't see evidence for that.
Well, I don't give a fuck if you disagree with it. That's just the fact of the matter. You're dehumanizing people, hating people, spreading vile nonsense constantly.
Because you're a white man in a white space. You're not in my spaces away from the safety of white privilege.
What privileges do I have as a white man that you don't have?
I am actively followed to make sure that we're not going to steal because we fit a demographic.
Why is that happening?
Oh my God, dude.
Because they see me in society as a black woman and make an assumption about me.
Why do they assume that black people are going to either steal something or commit some act of violence?
Racism.
No. It's because black people commit an inordinate amount of crimes relative to the population.
He's just the most vile, racist sack of shit on planet Earth. It's not just about, like, are they going to commit crimes or whatever because black people, blah, blah, blah. They're followed in scenarios where it doesn't even call for that. Like, you know, a black woman is dressed nice and fine, and they're not even in a situation where anything could be stolen, and racist fucking dipshit Karens will follow them around all over the place, make sure they're not getting into something, whatever that thing might be, even if there's nothing to get into. That is the type of shit that happens to black people constantly. They're stereotyped, they're followed for literally no reason whatsoever. Now, if you are kind of grungy and you're a mess and you haven't taken a shower in a week and a half and your clothes are dirty and you're acting shifty and weird and you walk into a cheap store and you run to the back to a hidden area, I think it's totally reasonable that you would follow somebody, black or white, to find out what they're doing. That has nothing to do with the color of your skin. Would you follow a black person that was dressed well, that had, you know, you had absolutely no reason to think that they were going to steal anything at all? Would you follow that person just because they're black? If so, then you're racist. There's no reason to do something like that. And it materially makes the lives of black people worse when you do that, when they're just normal, innocent people just hanging out, doing their thing.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Joshua. What's your name?
My name's Avery.
Avery. Nice to meet you, Avery.
I just want to have a little discussion about how you can have your own beliefs about abortion and everything.
Okay.
But in that, something I've seen a lot with Republicans is they will say so much about how abortion's wrong, but they don't talk about the outcome that has. Number one being the system of foster care and adoption, which you did just mention a little bit.
Yeah.
I personally am an adoptee. So
you were adopted?
I am adopted, yes.
Yes.
Me and all of my siblings.
And you're glad that you weren't murdered?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not murdered.
Yeah.
This is building in an assumption from the start. First of all, she's lucky she was adopted, and I'm sure she knows that. Many foster children are not adopted, and they're certainly not adopted from birth. So they're going to go through a foster system where they don't have somebody that loves them, that cares for them unconditionally, that will take them in and do whatever it takes to protect them. They don't have that, and children should have that, first of all. Second, abortion is not murder. It's just not. It is not murder, especially when it's a tiny little grouping of cells. That's not murder. That's just, how do I phrase this? Especially when it's a tiny grouping of cells. That's just not murder. It's as much murder as this is, scratching my nose.
But I'm also aware that my mom wasn't. It was a very different situation.
Sure.
But
if your mom was, do you think that you should have been murdered?
It wouldn't have been murder.
it's up to her. If my life was going to bring her life down significantly, I would want the better outcome for her.
Yeah, so I would say the better outcome is never to murder your child, but I see what you're getting at.
That's not murder.
I think it should be a personal opinion. I don't think killing a child is right, but
That's not killing a child.
also, I don't think that should be
Why is it not right to kill a child?
It's a life. But also,
Correct.
I don't think it should be a government thing. It should be more of a personal.
Should the government prevent me from killing 3-year-olds?
We're not talking about 3-year-olds. We're talking about literal groupings of cells that don't have a subjective experience, that are completely outside of the bounds of our understanding of life. In the most technical sense, it's cellular life. There is life there, but it isn't killing children. Abortion is not killing children.
Yeah, that's a 3-year-old.
Yeah, so why would we not give human rights to tinier children?
We would, but at a certain point, they're not children, right? Obviously, there's a line in there somewhere. Where is the line? I put the line at viability, when it can survive outside of the womb, outside of the mother. That's somewhere in the range of 20 weeks. That's exactly where Roe v. Wade put it. You shouldn't be able to get an elective abortion beyond 20 weeks. You should, however, be able to get an abortion if it's necessary for the life of the mother beyond that, which is what Roe v. Wade did. Like, if the mom is going to die, then an abortion should be allowed.
Not comparable.
They're both humans.
They are humans.
So they are comparable.
They're not actively interacting with the world. I'm not saying it's not a life. I still
There's no subjective experience, what she's saying. That's correct.
do believe it is a life.
So you believe it's a life, you just don't believe it should receive human rights.
No, it's cellular life. You wouldn't put somebody in prison for pulling the plug on a brain dead relative, right? That's because it's cellular life, not conscious life. There is no subjective experience in a parent who is brain dead or whatever. You shouldn't be punished for pulling the plug on a brain dead relative, and you shouldn't be punished for pulling the plug on a brain dead grouping of cells that has no subjective experience whatsoever. It's exactly the same. Just a reminder, I would really appreciate it if you guys checked out my Patreon. If you're not going to donate, you don't have to, but follow me there at the very least. owenmorgan.com/Patreon. Just in case something happens with the government or whatever, it would be really good if you had some way to connect with me and my content. I'm really concerned about that, and maybe you should consider that for other creators too.
Not what I was saying.
Well, human rights, the first human right, the ultimate human right that they're all contingent upon is the right to life. So you're saying that the baby in the womb should not have that right to life, like
It's not a baby.
the 1-year-old.
I believe we're in a broken world that Christ is trying to redeem and is
Sure.
slowly redeeming.
Yes, and
But
amen.
I also am aware that us as a society, we pick and choose who we kill. We
Correct.
have
And what I'm saying is that mothers should not have special murder rights to murder their babies.
They're not murdering babies. Again, he's building in this assumption that's absurd. It's not based in reality whatsoever. And also, even if it was a baby, think about this. Say somebody is breaking into your house at night and stealing half of your food. Are you within your moral rights to simply lock your door at night? Should you be morally allowed to just lock your door? No matter what happens. If that person dies, they die. It's not your problem, right? Should you be allowed to lock your door? The answer is obviously yes, you should, because those are your resources. That's your door. And that person has no right to your stuff, period. It is the exact same thing with abortion. Now, is it the right thing to feed the person? Maybe. That's possible. I can see an argument for that. Maybe it should be the right thing. You should consider it the right thing. But should you be forced to allow this person in your house? No, obviously not. It is an identical situation to abortion. A being is stealing half of your food, half of your resources. The right thing and what you should be allowed to do are different. Obviously, you should be allowed to lock your door at night.
Fair enough. I also think that as a nation of freedom, you should have the legal right to choose.
To lock your door, yes.
Should I have
But
the legal
that's-
right to choose to kill my 1-year-old if he gets really out of line?
Again, that's a 1-year-old,
But
not a fetus.
it's a human.
It is.
It's a human, but a a fetus that's literally like 12 hours old is not a conscious being with a subjective experience that is worthy of all of the same rights and protections as every other human being. And even if it was, you should have the right to lock your door at night to prevent the fetus from stealing your resources. It's a different situation when the kid is outside of the womb, when the kid is like independent of you. But in this scenario where you're locking your door at night, there's food is not available elsewhere and there are no other choices. It's like being hooked up to medical equipment that is draining your resources, that's draining your body of blood. You are well within your rights to pull the plug, preventing your blood from being taken from your body, no matter what, period, full stop. It doesn't matter what other arguments you have the right to preserve your body and your body's resources. Even if somebody's hooked up to you taking your blood, no one can force you to give a kidney donation or a blood donation or whatever. No one can force that out of you because of bodily autonomy.
Okay. Avery, you said fetus. Do you know what that word fetus means?
Oh, he'll buckle up.
Yes. I don't want to talk about abortion, though. Specifically, I came up here to talk about how we always talk about abortion, but we don't talk about the outcome, aka we say nothing about helping and fixing and funding the foster care and adoption care because it is messed up.
Yeah, okay, so should the American Cancer Society talk about something other than cancer? And aren't there other problems besides cancer?
Yeah.
Should the American Cancer Society focus on something else? Alzheimer's?
No.
Wait, are you the American Abortion Society? Is that what you're saying?
Right, because we can focus on one particular evil without focusing on all the other evils. I would say that what we have in abortion is a genocide.
But it's not. That's literally not the definition of genocide at all, like in any way.
Actually a genocide. Over 70 million little babies
But they're not little babies. Again, it's a grouping of cells. They're not babies. This is so dirty. And I was really hoping he was going to tell us what he thinks fetus means. Charlie Kirk famously said it means little human, and it doesn't at all.
Been murdered in their mother's womb, not because their mothers were, not because of incest, not because of anything like that.
How does he know that?
But because these women had sex with somebody, regretted it, and murdered their child.
How does he know the reasons for all abortions? What are you talking about?
Just America alone, too. That's just in America.
That's like trying to fix a genocide by not giving food to the children who will be surviving through that genocide.
I'm not following you.
If you're going to try to stop a genocide, but then do nothing with the people left from it.
We don't do nothing. It's a broken system for sure, and I think many people should work on it. But first and foremost, like, all right, let's say if we had a society where it was legal to murder girl toddlers, but not boy toddlers, would you get on to me for attacking that law with vigor? Like, we've got all these other problems in society, but if we had a law on the books that said you're allowed to murder if they annoy you, you can kill little girl toddlers, but you can't kill little boy toddlers, would you?
I don't, what's the point here? I don't understand what he's even trying to communicate. That would be a bad law? Yes, okay.
Would you agree that I should have a special kind of unique desire to end that unjust practice?
I don't think that is a comparable theoretical situation to compare it to.
Yeah, I don't understand. What's he talking about?
It's very comparable.
I don't think it is.
Okay, how so?
Two very drastically different extremes and very drastically different situations.
They're both human beings.
Yes, being discriminated
okay,
in
the
different
purpose
ways.
that I'm saying, the reason why I'm asking, you agree, right? That I should really go after that law that allows little girls to be murdered, right?
In that specific theoretical situation, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying about abortion. You're talking about the need to fix the foster care system. Yes, there's a lot of pain that's brought about by the foster care system. 70 million little babies haven't been murdered in the foster care system.
No, 70 million babies have not been murdered. It's not murder. They're not babies. He's trying to twist this into something it's not.
A lot of abuse, a lot of horrible things have happened, but 70 million babies have not been murdered.
So in that,
correct.
You are putting infant lives above my own life.
I'm putting yes, murder is worse than other than other things. Yes, murder is worse.
It's not murder, first of all, again. And second, the life of the mother should come above the life of the fetus. Once it's out and it's an actual living human being, an actual real baby, we can have a conversation, obviously. I think the lives are of equal value. Everybody's life is of equal value at that point. But we're talking about a different scenario.
Do you think murder is worse than, I don't know, neglecting a child or something like that? Do you think it's worse to neglect them, like for a father to not show?
Bro, his arguments are piss poor. Yes, on a scale, I suppose murder is worse than some things. But it's interesting he's making that argument because in the eyes of God, murder is not worse. Murder and lying are equal in the eyes of God, equally as evil. Why is he making this argument? That's fascinating.
Grow up and neglect them, or is it worse for the father to murder them?
This is the same thing as the trolley problem. Do you hit the child or do you hit the 80-year-old woman?
No, it's not the same. I'm saying that
the same.
these are two very different kinds of evils. One is ending a life. The other one is making a life hard and is causing trauma.
No, he's misunderstanding what she's saying.
But it's not ending a life.
Okay. You stated your stance and I hear you.
Okay, and so.
And it's dumb as dog shit.
So why would you say?
Scrutiny all the way.
Yeah. Why would you say that that it's okay then to murder? Are we back? Why would we say then that we're okay to murder a little child in the womb?
Nobody is saying that. That's not what's happening. They're not children. It's not murder.
Little child in the womb, not an active life.
It is. It's a human life.
That it has no means outside of the mother.
And yeah, and your grandfather who is completely brain dead and is on like a feeding tube is also a human life. But nobody would say that it's murder to pull the plug on a parent who has there's no brain activity. Nobody would say that. There is no brain activity in a fetus at a certain age. Again, I say 20 weeks is my line because then actually 24 weeks is where brain activity starts to appear. I'm all in. Yes, we should try. We should limit that. We should limit abortion beyond that point, beyond 20 weeks. But he's refusing to accept anything. He's refusing to change his position on anything or see it as anything other than what he sees it as.
Yeah, but why does that mean we can kill it?
Because it's the better outcome of sometimes balancing that. And it shouldn't be our decision to define that for other people.
Well, it's definitely not the better outcome for the baby.
The baby can't say anything. It's the mother's
Right, so what I'm saying is that we should speak up for the defenseless. Do you think it was good whenever white people abolished slavery in America and in Europe?
Do you think?
He doesn't think that. He doesn't believe that slavery abolition is good. I'll prove it.
Is not, the institution of slavery is not inherently evil. I know, some of you guys are upset by that. Some of you guys are saying, I've been saying that for years. Okay, I'll take it a step further. It is not inherently evil to own another human being.
So the point is that he doesn't even believe this. He doesn't think that slavery being abolished was good. One more time.
No, thus saith the...
Oh, shoot, wrong one. Sorry, hang on. There it is.
Say the mother's
Right, so what I'm
decision.
saying is that we should speak up for the defenseless. Do you think it was good whenever white people abolished slavery in America and in Europe?
Do you think? Say that again, please.
Do you think it was good that white Christians abolished slavery in Europe and then ultimately in America?
Yes.
You think it was good? Okay, why?
Because slavery was wrong.
Because slavery was wrong. Yeah, and why was slavery wrong?
Because it was.
But he doesn't believe that. Why is he arguing this? He believes slavery was good. What, are you afraid of your positions? Come on, come out and tell us.
Dehumanizing humans.
Correct. And that's what we're doing with little babies. Mm-hmm. We're dehumanizing them. We're calling them fetus.
What? No, they are literally fetuses. That's what they are. They are not babies. They are a grouping of cells. Is he saying that we're de facto enslaving babies or something? Am I picking this up?
So we don't feel so bad when we kill them. Do you see that?
This is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's just factually wrong. That's not what's happening.
Question for you.
And it sounds like she's actually anti-abortion but pro-choice, so she's making basically no arguments against abortion, which is sad.
Yeah.
In that sense, coming back to slavery, how do you feel about the use of the Bible and Christian ideology to then strengthen and impose slavery?
Oh boy, he can't answer this question honestly. She's got him here.
You do realize that it was Christians who abolished slavery in the West and basically...
Bullshit. You realize that it was Christians that fought for slavery, right? By using the Bible to back up their position that slavery is good, as he just did in that video. He believes slavery is a good thing. How can he say this is so disingenuous? He's lying here. This is a lie. Isn't this against the 10 Commandments to lie?
Across the known world.
Huge news. We're building something big.
Oh, and he just cuts off her response. Great.
And I want you.
Yeah, I'm jumping forward. I don't want his stupid bullshit ad. Wow, that's a long ad.
Make America Christian again.
And it's still Christians who are dehumanizing us still to this day.
Well, I disagree with that. I don't see evidence for that. But
because you're a white man in a white space, you're not in my spaces away from the safety of white privilege.
She shifted. She shouldn't have shifted. She should have really honed in on this, in my opinion. But I guess she didn't feel confident in that kind of part of the debate or whatever.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
what privileges do I have as a white man that you don't have? Because I would say that white men are the most systematically...
and not being followed.
What?
Going into an elevator and not having women clutch their purses and walk away from you.
Okay, so you're saying that white people, say that again, they have the privilege of having people not clutch their purses around them?
I am actively followed in grocery stores.
So followed, what do you mean followed?
As of my siblings, to make sure that we're not going to steal because we fit a demographic.
Why is that happening?
That's happening because people automatically, for racist reasons, assume that she is a thief. They see black people and they make some generalizations. They make some assumptions that they're dangerous, that they're going to steal their shit or whatever. They're going to commit some kind of a crime for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Now, again, black people are overrepresented in certain crimes, depending on what it is and the context and things like that. But the reason for that, let me rephrase. But this guy believes that people are more prone to commit those crimes because of the color of their skin, instead of recognizing the fact that poverty is the number one indicator for crime. And if we want to fix crime, we rise people up out of poverty. Instead, he's blaming people for things, he's stereotyping, he's making assumptions about people and justifying racist, hateful, bigoted behavior and blaming everybody around him for the problems that he is creating.
Because they see me in society as a black woman and make an assumption about me.
Okay, why do they make that assumption?
Because they're racist shitheads. They have no reason to think that she's going to steal anything or that she's dangerous or whatever. There's no reason for that. You're making an assumption based on skin color, and now he's going to justify making those assumptions.
Because of my skin color in this society.
Right. Why do they assume that black people are going to either steal something or commit some act of violence?
Because they're racist.
Racism.
No, it's because black people commit an inordinate amount of crimes relative to the population.
But what percentage of black people that you come across are going to commit a crime? They may be disproportionately represented in the statistics. That's true. But that's for one of two reasons. Either it's for social reasons, because of poverty, or it's because of genetic reasons, because they're just genetically predisposed to be more violent or commit more crimes otherwise. The fact is, if you believe that it's genetic, you're a Nazi. That's what the Nazis believed. It is a dichotomy. It's one of those two things. If it's a social problem, we can fix it through jobs programs and reparations or whatever other thing. And if it's a genetic problem, then you're a Nazi. But what percentage of the population of black people that you come across, what percentage of black people that you come across are going to commit a crime? Almost zero. Nearly zero. Almost nobody commits crime in the first place. But you see a black person, you see the color of their skin, you assume this person is going to commit a crime. Why? When I see a man, I don't assume he's going to commit a crime, but men are disproportionately represented in crime statistics by a massive margin compared to women. I don't make that assumption because not everybody commits crimes. He's just a racist sack of shit. That's all.
So they're just looking at statistics and data, and they're seeing a trend, and they're saying like, hey, we should use our eyeballs and see there is a particular demographic that's committing more crime than other demographics. And so it's a natural response then to say we should.
So it's a natural response to see any random black person on the street and assume they're going to commit a crime because they're disproportionately represented in crime statistics. You shouldn't be making generalizations about people that you see and automatically assuming they're going to commit a crime because the vast majority of people are not going to commit crimes anyway. He is just a disgusting fucking scumbag, honestly.
Be more careful around that particular demographic. That's not fair because you seem like a very kind person, a very nice person who's not going to steal anything. But what I'm saying is we have to account for the reality that black people, 13% of the population in the United States, commit over 50% of the violent crime.
No, that statistic isn't even correct. I believe it's a cherry-picked number, and it's a Nazi number that Nazis use a lot, 1350. 13% of the population commits 50% of the murders, if I'm not mistaken. Not violent crime, but murders. And what about men? 48% of the population, maybe, commit 800% more violent crime than the other 52% women. He doesn't feel that way when he sees a man. He doesn't assume a man is going to commit a crime. Why does he assume that about black people? Racism. That's it. It's because of racism.
And in that sense, I also need to walk around you with pepper spray and tasers because white men are the ones who rape women more. So
that's actually not true.
Well, men. You should just say men.
Actually, it's statistically black men are more likely to rape women. But to your point about men versus women, men are definitely the aggressors, and that's true. And that's why you need good men to protect women from bad men.
Okay, great. But she should be carrying pepper spray and distrust you then, right? By that estimation? Is that what you're saying? He doesn't seem to, nothing is going to pierce his thick skull. This dude is fucking disgusting.
Generally. And that's not happening a lot. That's a problem. But
all I would like to see is non-biased statistics from you on your social media to share this.
What do you mean?
That's all I want.
Non-biased statistics? What do you mean?
I have done the research. It is statistically more white men, not black men, men in general, but white men specifically that rape more.
For the video, I'll just put up the statistics on the screen. We can.
And please give.
Any 5 minutes now, right? We're waiting for those statistics.
The links to all that. I would love to read your information.
Yeah. I definitely.
He doesn't have any information.
If I'm wrong, then I would like to be educated about it.
No, that's great. I think it's really important because what you're bringing up is actually really important because racism. Whenever we're talking about racism, you're blaming racism. You're blaming a society for racism for just like noticing a pattern, for just saying like, I actually don't want to be mugged or robbed or something like that.
Again, not all black people are going to commit that crime. In fact, almost none are. Almost nobody is going to commit crimes in the first place. It's a small percentage of people. And you're assuming that every black person you see is going to commit a crime, even though there's no basis for that belief. That's the racist part. Every time you see a black person, you assume they're going to commit a crime.
And here's a demographic who's doing that more often than other demographics, so I'm naturally going to be a little more cautious. Is that reasonable? No. Why is that?
No, it's not reasonable because the numbers are so tiny and minuscule in the first place.
Now, why is that not reasonable?
Because it's something that's unique to this country.
What is?
Racism. I can go.
Racism is unique to America?
Not racism unique specifically, but in the sense that I have gone to Europe and other countries and have not felt that systemic racism and me being perceived as a basic threat as a human being.
Try going to South Africa as a white person.
Yeah.
Wait, why did he bring up South Africa? That is like literally the last country you want to bring up as an example in a conversation on racism.
As a basic threat as a human being.
Try going to South Africa as a white person.
Really? Try going to South Africa as a white person. Are you serious with this? This persecution complex that they have is absurd. White people are not being persecuted in South Africa. They're not being genocided, quote unquote, as these people like to say. Just nonsense.
Yeah, that's true. South Africa's white person is really bad. Racism is everywhere.
Kill the Boer?
So I guess I don't even know what you mean by racism, though. What do you mean by racism?
I don't want to go in this, but I do have a question.
Okay.
What religion do you think I am?
I have no idea.
I'm a Christian.
Okay. Then I think that we should ultimately submit to Jesus Christ and his law. We shouldn't go based on
Your interpretation of it, right? Though nobody else's, yours specifically, your understanding of it, going through the Bible and how you came to the conclusions that you came to, not hers, not, what Jesus literally said, but your interpretation.
liberal talking points or anything like that. Ultimately, we should be basing all of our views on Jesus Christ and his word, his law word. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and I do.
Good, good. Okay, then we should agree that you shouldn't kill human beings and the baby no matter what. Because
It's not killing human beings or babies to have an abortion.
they're human lives.
Have you seen Christ in me today as we've had this conversation?
I have seen a gentleness about how you've responded, which I do very much appreciate, because a lot of people aren't like that. But I will say,
No, I guess is his answer. No, I have not seen Jesus in you.
it is not Christ-like to advocate for the right for mothers to murder their children. So that's an area where you need to submit to the Lord Jesus Christ, because all little humans are created in his image, and we should defend the vulnerable. We should defend the fatherless. We should defend. In fact, that's exactly what the Scripture very clearly tells us. And then he tells us that the nation that practices child sacrifice, which is what abortion is, will be cursed.
Oh, please, child sacrifice. Abortion is child sacrifice. Give it a fucking rest. This dude is such a scumbag, really. What is wrong with him?
It will be cursed. We have sacrificed over 70 million babies as a society. And so what I would say is, and I appreciate your cordialness, Avery, and if you're a Christian, I would just encourage you. Little children are created in God's image, and Jesus Christ, your King, ostensibly, calls you to protect the vulnerable and to stop child sacrifice. Okay?
I appreciate
He's a scumbag. That was an absolutely terrible debate. Infuriating is the word, actually. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Disgusting.